Hey everybody, what's up? Waiting on the Fed today. In about another hour, 15 minutes, will be the conclusion of this FOMC meeting, at which time Fed will raise the Fed funds rate by 25 basis points. That's a done deal, pretty much. Very much expected. However, I do expect a zombie reaction, and that will be some dollar buying, some selling of gold. Maybe you'll get the inverse reaction in bonds. You might get a rally in the bonds. You might get a rally in stocks. These moves, particularly the buying of the dollar, the selling of gold or commodities, that you have to fade. In other words, go against that. So let's go over the history. Okay, the Fed started to raise rates in December 2015. That was, at that time, it was the first time in 9 years that it had been in the rate hike mode. Prior to that, it was cutting rates, or I guess holding them steady. So in December, let's just go down the list. Let's go down the list. In December 2000, well, before we go down the list, remember what the narrative was at the time, that when the Fed starts raising rates, that's going to be bullish for the dollar, that's going to be bearish for commodities, it's going to be bearish for stocks, and possibly even put the U.S. economy into a recession. There was a lot of fear about this among the mainstream of economists, and also the pundits on TV and the business media. Not me, okay? You can go back. You can go back and check my videos around that time. I said inflation was going to pick up, the dollar was going to go down, gold was going to go up, and the economy was going to grow faster because rate hikes are fiscal expansions. So let's go down the list. In December 2015, we'll start with the dollar index. That was at 98. Today it's around... don't forget, we're 6 rate hikes in. This will be the 7th rate hike. Today it's around just under 94. Okay, so the dollar is down. Dollar yen was at 121 in December 2015. 6 or 7 rate hikes later, it is at 110. The euro was at 108. Okay, now it is at 117, almost 118. All right. What else? Gold was at $1,045 an ounce. Now 7 rate hikes in, it's at $1,300 an ounce, almost a 30% increase. The Consumer Price Index, the CPI, in December 2015 was growing at 1.1% year over year. It is now growing at 2.7% year over year. What else? The economy was growing at GDP was 1.5% in December on an annualized basis. The growth rate, it is now forecast in the second quarter to be 4.8%. So everything I said, from inflation to the dollar to gold to commodities, I left one out actually. Oil in December 2015 was at 30. Today is at 66, more than double. So everything I said, inflation going to go up, dollar going to go down, economy going to expand, all those things came true. Everything the mainstream and the pundits and the so-called geniuses predicted, none of those things came true. Okay, and we've been riding those trends. When I say me, that is myself and people who have been following me. Now, is that easy? Yes, it is easy in one regard, and that is in the sense that we understand, or I understand, how the monetary system functions. I am not deluded by some quack theories or sort of dogma or religion that the mainstream of economics follows, and that most of the quacks and the pundits and the so-called geniuses and experts out there, that's what they follow. They do not have an understanding, okay? That understanding that I have comes from MMT. So I understand the impact of policy and how it is going to affect the economy, how it is going to affect the markets. But I posed the question, is this easy? I said, on the one hand, yes, it is easy because I have an absolute bulletproof understanding of how things function. On the other hand, sometimes it is not easy because we are dealing with the behavior of many, many people in the market whose understanding is completely flawed or backwards, okay? So it requires tremendous and very strong mental game, which I have. Now, the people who are with me, the people, especially the people who have been with me for a long time, they have or they are in the process of developing very strong mental game. How do I know? Because many of you write me and send me emails telling me how your results have been transformed by the mental game techniques and strategies that I have taught you, and also just from the coaching that you get by being with me. All right. Some of you have been in difficult spots, and then I help you to get through that. So the mental game aspect is very, very important. But there are many, and I have to say this, many who have tried to hang with us, SEAL Team 6, that is my group, but they quit. Just like the SEAL program, the Navy SEAL, you get 200, 250 guys who try out, maybe 18 or 20 of them make it. Same thing here. I had a lot of guys who fall out, who drop out, because for one reason or another, they cannot continue. They do not want to develop their mental game. They quit. A lot of times they just quit because they do not have that resilience. They do not have that toughness. They cannot stand the discomfort. And I've said here many times that if you are looking for some sort of a holy grail system, you see, a lot of you think it's in the system, that there's some magical holy grail system out there that's going to pick you up and carry you across the finish line in a comfortable ball of cotton, and you're never going to have to be stressed out, and you're never going to have to be anxious, and you're never going to have to be, just have that knot in the pit of your stomach, but everything's going to be fine. Then you are absolutely in some kind of a fantasy world, because that is never going to happen. Some of you have been dealing with the aspect of waiting, of patience, of what I call paying with time. We do not take losses, we pay with time. The market is very, very understanding in that sense. It does not ask for your money. People voluntarily give their money to the market, and then they rationalize that as somehow being prudent trading. It's not. Losing money is not prudent. Waiting patiently until that situation turns in your favor, that is prudent. Now, why is it that some people can't wait and some people can wait? Very simple. People who have overinflated egos, people who are needy, people who deem themselves too important to wait, above waiting, they cannot wait. So you see where I'm getting. The core of success is really separating yourself or getting rid of that overinflated ego, getting rid of ego completely, if that's even possible, but certainly getting rid of the overinflated ego, getting rid of neediness, getting rid of self-importance. These are the things that keep you from achieving what it is you want to achieve. People who cannot wait are people who believe they are too important or above having to wait, and therefore they need it. They want it right now. Market's not going to give it to you right now. Sometimes it will, but most of the time it won't. So then they come up with this crazy cockamamie idea that it's better to lose and I'll just get it next time. Well, guess what? You may not get it next time or the next time after that. This whole concept of stop losses, of losing as a path to winning, is really based in this overblown self-importance you have of yourself, that you need it right now. You cannot wait. You are too important to wait. That is nonsense. There is nobody who is too important to wait. Nobody. And if you think you are, then guess what? You have just resigned yourself to losses and to accepting losses as a path to success, which is ridiculous. It is ludicrous. It does not work. So that's the first thing you have to do, is to understand you need to shed your overinflated ego, your overinflated sense of self-importance, your neediness. That's the only way the results will flow to you. Other than that, if you do not do that, then you must resign yourself to losing and rationalize to yourself. In other words, lie to yourself, make up a phony story to yourself that losing is the path to winning. We don't do that in SEAL Team 6. We win. And the ones who can't make it, like the SEAL program, this is exactly like the military SEAL program, only it has to do with trading and not fighting wars. People drop out. They come into my program. They think, oh, this is fantastic. I love what Mike's saying. But when they're put to the test, they can't handle it and they drop out. It's okay. It's supposed to be like that. All right? You're supposed to be tested. You're supposed to be put in the cauldron and see if you can handle it. That's what it's all about. If you can handle it, if you can build resistance, if you can build mental game, if you can keep pushing forward without quitting, you are going to make it. And if you lose the ego and lose the neediness and lose the overinflated sense of self-importance, you are going to make it. But if you deem yourself too important and above having to wait, never going to happen. But by all means, with my blessing, go on and keep telling yourself that losing is the path to winning. I'll gladly take your money, and so will every one of my people in SEAL Team 6. See you later. Bye-bye.